When we think about food, we usually think about craving, comfort, and culture. We think of the rhythmic thud of a wooden mallet during mochisuki, the Japanese tradition of pounding mochi to bring good fortune in the new year. Or we think of preparing poi from taro root, a practice deeply embedded in Hawaiian culture to honor ancestry and the land. But throughout history, there was a hidden deficit in these traditions. Populations could easily eat thousands of calories a day, yet still fall victim to severe bum deformities, as seen in these children suffering from rickets, or fatal conditions like scurvy and pellagra. The problem was a biological blind spot. People were eating the sheer volume of food necessary to survive, but they were missing the invisible, microscopic elements required by the body to actually process that volume. Food is a highly functional biological toolkit. To keep the human body alive, the nutrients we consume have to execute three specific, non-negotiable jobs. They provide energy, contribute to body structure, and regulate chemical processes. Eating is the act of uploading complex chemical software, a daily installation of the precise codes needed to fuel, structure, and regulate the human machine. The first imperative is fuel. We get this from macronutrients, the large-scale molecules like carbohydrates and lipids that our bodies metabolize to deliver immediate cellular energy. Digesting complex carbohydrates breaks long chemical chains into simple sugars like glucose, releasing exactly 4 kilocalories of energy per gram. Lipids offer denser, long-term storage, extracting 9 kilocalories per gram, more than double the energy of a carbohydrate. These chemical bonds hold potential energy, but it only matters when converted into cellular energy, allowing us to move muscles, breathe, and keep our hearts beating. A body loaded with fuel is like a charged battery next to an empty chassis. The energy has nowhere to go without a physical architecture. That brings us to the second imperative, structure. This is where proteins step in. Proteins are the biological workhorses responsible for building the actual physical tissue of your bones, muscles, and skin. Your DNA acts as a master recipe book. It dictates the sequence where 20 amino acids bind together, folding and twisting into over 100,000 distinct proteins that build the human body. The rest of the structure requires water, accounting for more than 60% of your body weight, to transport materials and cushion organs. It also relies on macrominerals, like calcium and phosphorus, forming the hard scaffolding of your skeleton. This chart shows the structural differences between these elements. You can see the distinct molecular structures of proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, and water, paired with their common food sources. But the machine remains inert. A physical structure and a full tank of fuel are useless without the regulatory system that actually triggers every chemical reaction in the body. The final imperative is regulation, and it is managed entirely by micronutrients, the vitamins and trace minerals required in tiny amounts to run the body's chemical processes. Here is the paradox. Micronutrients contain exactly 0 calories. They provide absolutely no direct energy, yet they function as vital coenzymes. Coenzymes act like spark plugs. If you lack trace amounts of an element like zinc or vitamin C, the enzymes trying to digest fuel or build proteins simply fail to fire. Once the specific micronutrient slots tightly into the enzyme, the reaction activates. We frequently attempt to bypass this intricate system by relying on empty calories, like sugary sodas that flood the body with fuel but offer no structural or regulatory elements, or by taking isolated, synthesized dietary supplements. But the evidence shows that extracting all your micronutrients from an isolated pill is less effective than getting them directly from the foods you eat. A high-quality whole food provides a perfectly balanced matrix. It packages raw fuel, structural building blocks, and exact regulatory chemicals together, all delivered simultaneously. A food's true quality isn't determined by its total mass or calorie count. It is measured by its nutrient density, the ratio of essential regulatory coenzymes relative to the amount of raw energy it provides. This delicate nutritional software does not operate in a vacuum. It requires a healthy surrounding ecosystem to run efficiently. Certain lifestyle choices actively disrupt this biological system. Factors like inadequate sleep patterns, chronic tobacco smoking, and excessive alcohol consumption introduce severe operational errors into the machine. These external corruptors damage your body's ability to process fuel and maintain its cellular structure. The result is a drastically increased risk of chronic breakdowns, including heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and stroke. Conversely, intentional physical activity acts as a lifestyle multiplier. Regular exercise optimizes the way your body utilizes its macronutrients, lowering the risk of early mortality and keeping the system running at peak efficiency. Health is found at the intersection of biological needs and cultural traditions. It relies on a nutrient-dense lifestyle that provides the specific tools the human machine requires to thrive.